People sometimes take our reporting very seriously. That's what motivates us to work so hard.
Biden visited the border and told everyone, please disperse. There's nothing to see here, please.
And we talked to Kevin Sorbo and pray we don't get left behind.
All this and
more.
You moron.
All this and more.
The Babylon Bee Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Babylon Bee Podcast. We're hanging out today with Kyle, Adam, and Chandler. We are here in usually sunny Southern California, but we're getting absolutely pummeled by rain.
Yeah.
This strange wet stuff falling out of the
Monsoon
sky.
season.
yeah, nonstop. I'm grateful for the little breaks, though.
I was talking on the phone to my parents in Pennsylvania about it. It's weird because the roads are flooded out here, but the amount of rain we're getting is like a normal amount of rain for
Like normal human amount of rain.
Yeah, it's what it rains in other states on the East Coast regularly.
This weather has
This
weather has reinforced that I could never live anywhere else. I'm like, if this is horrible for me, I'm not doing well in this rain, and it would be like so much worse anywhere else. So grateful for the sun today. Woohoo!
Now, sometimes lady folk complain about rain in their hair. Does it?
It does. It definitely does. It frizzes up my hair. I think it's a little bit more frizzy than normal, but I use hairspray, which is like apparently like a sin in hair world. Like
Sin for hair.
Don't use hairspray. That's so bad for your hair. It dries it out and stuff. I'm like, well, I am just gonna keep using it because it's the only thing that makes my hair like give it the bigness that the volume. That's another hair term.
Treasure in heaven is great, but it's not going to buy you a tank of gas. So let's take a moment to briefly review the current state of our economy and the global effect the war between Russia and Ukraine has had. We're in for a tough year here, and Biden's printing and spending could be catastrophic for the US dollar and the market. That's why a growing number of financial analysts are recommending you diversify with gold and silver now. And the only company we recommend is Allegiance Gold. Our friends at Allegiance Gold can help you protect your IRA or 401k with physical gold and silver and have it delivered securely right to your door. The team at Allegiance Gold takes the time to educate their clients on the importance of having a financial portfolio that's diversified with gold and silver. Allegiance Gold has been one of the top precious metals firms in the nation for their commitment to protecting your hard-earned savings. They have an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, a 5-star rating with TrustLink, and they're AAA rated with the Business Consumer Alliance. If you act now by calling them and you mention Babylon Bee, we'll even give you $500 of free silver on a qualified purchase. Call 844-790-9191 to get this exclusive offer. Or you can visit allegiancegold.com/B. That's B-E-E. Call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191. Or visit allegiancegold.com/BEE.
Volume is one of those terms I've seen on shampoo bottles before, and I have no idea what it means. Like, it always says adds volume or has volume.
Volume is just
I don't know what that.
I assume like if my hair is really flat combed and I do like volume, then it's like
yeah,
that's
exactly.
what I imagine
Space
it would do.
from the scalp is volume.
Space from the scalp.
But I feel like I've used those shampoos. I don't know if guys' shampoos say that usually.
volume.
But sometimes
I look for that
if
on
there's
every-
only one. Sometimes if there's only like a woman's shampoo in the shower, I'll use it whatever. But I've never noticed that it makes it big or anything.
I think like shampoo removes oil. It's like soap, so it removes oil. So like the less oil there is, the more like bounce and volume it will have, and the more grease. Like the longer you go without a shampoo, like the more flat and greasy it gets. So that's where volume.
I've just used soap as shampoo before. Is that not a...
Yeah, I've done that before.
Oh my gosh,
and then
really?
I've also
like
done
a
the
bar of soap, just
like if you don't have...
I've done the reverse where I've used shampoo as soap before too.
That's
when
just
I'm
a
out
standard
of body wash
operating procedure for me. Like I feel like a normal shower for me is like shampoo, and then you just kind of
rub it all in.
Use
You
the
just
extra-
let your hair dirt run over the
hair
rest
dirt
of your
goes
body.
in, and then that gets it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't...
I'm not going to say that I've never done that before, but I don't think that that's like the right thing to do. Like dish soap is not the same as hand soap. It's not the same as shampoo. It's all the same stuff, but it's different. You know what I mean? Like
I'm
you
pretty
have
sure
to.
growing up I've used dish soap.
I wouldn't
before,
use it
yeah.
regularly, but I think I have used dish soap
I have
before.
as well, yeah.
Like sometimes at the gym shower, like I didn't bring my special like sensitive skin face wash. So
But
I'll
I
just
did
use
bring
body
my
wash
dish
and, like
soap.
it dries it out. Like use dish soap.
I do have some dish
At the
soap
gym.
here.
I didn't bring my body wash. Oh, but I did bring my dish soap.
Yeah, I never leave home without it. All right.
Yeah, but we're hanging in there with the rain. I know it's kind of weird that we're going to have a drought in a few months, I'm sure, and they're not capturing.
I actually heard this on the radio already. They were talking about it yesterday. Oh, it was CNN. It was Anderson Cooper. And they were saying how even though we get all this rain, it still doesn't fix the drought. So as soon as the rain is over, California
Get ready
is
for the
still,
drought
it's
again.
we're still in a drought, and we can still complain about.
Well, they're
the
not
drought.
building new reservoirs, which I guess is a thing, and they're actually destroying some reservoirs that are older. You know, so it's like they said something like 80% of this rainwater just goes out to the ocean. And you're like, come on, we got to be able to collect this stuff, But it's really sad. I mean, there's especially along the Central Coast, there's a lot of like complete destruction. I know a 5-year-old kid got washed away and died in Paso Robles, which is terrible. So now let's do our comedy podcast. So this episode, we're going to talk about getting left behind in the Rapture, because we're talking to Kevin Sorbo, who directed the new Left Behind movie. I didn't even know there was a new Left Behind movie.
I didn't either.
Apparently, this is a direct sequel to the Nicolas Cage, Chad Michael Murray one.
Yeah.
Well, this is a extremely fun-packed, fun-filled episode. We got Weekly News with Adam Yenser, we got Sizzler Facts, we got Hate Mail, and we're going to look at a bunch of times when people thought the Babylon Bee was real. So first, I think in our last episode, we talked a little bit about the athletes that have been collapsing, and we weren't sure, because I kind of said, well, I'm a little skeptical about it because I know that happened in previous years, so you really need to see the delta between...
You'd have to see that there's a definite increase in the people dropping dead since the COVID vaccine, and then also know that that's the only variable, that there's not other causes.
And this woman named Dr. Clark emailed us, and she said that she has some papers on the issue that have a direct data on the numbers of athletes who collapsed or died in the years prior to the COVID vaccines and then in the years since. Dan, do you have that? Oh, yeah, here's the PDF. So we can maybe link to this or something if people want to go through the data.
Yeah.
But she was claiming that this shows, like, in the years since the vaccine, it's been, like, between hundreds and thousands more occurrences than in the decades prior. So according to this person who seems to be something of an expert in the field, that there are excess deaths. So that's interesting. That's one point of data that you might want to check out. So I'm not really taking a stance on it because I have to read through this, but...
Yeah, so that definitely proves that there has been an increase. But then, you'd still have to know there's not other variables, like environmental factors or any lifestyle changes or anything that have also affected it. Yeah. But that's interesting.
Have you guys ever seen Don't Look Up?
Yeah.
I watched it last night.
It's good.
It was so depressing. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then today in the gym on the TV, it was all these flights got shut down last night. And then there was some engine that blew up in Long Beach and on some other plane. And I was just the movie has just never ended. It's just that. It was such an accurate depiction of the time we live in. I felt like it was very abusive and cruel, the ending, but they released it in the middle of the pandemic when there was already all this fear. And I'm just listening to this and I'm just yeah, the movie is just still going for me. Sorry, I'm a little traumatized by that film.
Look up. That was kind of like a climate change sort of.
It was definitely a metaphor for climate change, but also maybe COVID as well.
Not done too terribly.
And you know what I actually enjoyed about that movie? It was definitely meant. I think it's Adam McKay from SNL and a bunch of other stuff. It's definitely meant as a climate change analogy. But I think the treatment of the way the media sensationalizes things and the way people react to the news and question the science and make up their own narratives, I think you can kind of relate to that on both sides, because that happens with a lot of different narratives. And I thought it was a good movie. I mean,
I thought it was well done.
Yeah.
The majority of the film, maybe the first 80 or 90% of the film, wasn't necessarily pointing fingers, but at the end it was it's the Trump supporters' fault, and it's this and they made fun of Trump. So I'm that is so ridiculous. But it wasn't totally finger pointing, but it got a little bit skewed, because I felt it sucks you haven't seen this, but I just felt it was pretty accurate depiction of politicians and media the whole movie. And then at the end it was no redemption, the world ends, everyone dies, and then it was because
the very end,
it's because of those deniers.
I love the very end.
Yeah, okay.
The very end is fantastic.
We don't want to spoil it.
I don't want to spoil it, but the very end is
Kyle.
fantastic. Yeah.
The ending is funny, but it's that I guess that's the redemption. The leaders that sabotage the whole thing get their
no spoiler alerts.
They get their comeuppance. They get their comeuppance, but it's. I'm going to leave it vague for Kyle, because he's going to go home and watch it today, right, Kyle?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not.
It's very depressing. I've been kind of haunted by it, actually, because I thought it was very accurate. So I'm reading this report and I'm just Great. More great news. More great news from the New World Order.
Not. We need to bring back not as a good thing that she said.
Can we also bring
As
back
if.
talk to the hand? Talk
Psych
to the
was a good
hand.
one.
The face ain't listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been stuff that's good. Let's talk about what's in the news this week.
What's in the news this week?
Well, Republican Kevin McCarthy was elected House Speaker after 15 ballots. It only took 15 votes, but he did it. The House passed a rules package formalizing his agreement with the 20 House Freedom Caucus members who are withholding their votes. The new rules aim to reduce spending, increase legislative transparency, and shift power from leadership to rank-and-file House members. And it says it requires a supermajority to pass tax increases, a 72-hour notice on legislation before it can be considered, and a one-member threshold to place a motion to vacate the speaker chair. But it was a fun few days while that was.
I gotta say, I mean, I know people were making fun of the Republicans. We were making fun of the Republicans because they're kind of a bunch of clowns. But I really enjoyed politics for the first time in a long time.
Really?
Just watching the different ballots go through, and they're like, he's going to make it this time. And then like one guy's like, no, I nominate Donald Trump. And you're just like, this is crazy. I loved it. I enjoyed following it.
It was entertaining. I'm always on the fence when stuff like that happens, where that sort of gridlock, it looks sort of embarrassing from the outside, but it is also how democracy
How it works, and
You're
I
supposed
enjoyed
to
that.
not
Yeah,
just vote
right,
for someone if
exactly.
you don't really support them.
What's
yeah.
the name of that? Is it 12 Angry Men?
Yeah,
We could do a sketch
the
like 12
courtroom
Angry
drama.
Men, but it's like trying to get Kevin
Yeah.
McCarthy
Yeah,
elected.
the one holdout.
Yeah, it's like, no.
Wasn't there a holdout that turns everybody
Yeah.
in that movie? Yeah. Spoilers. But yeah, so this was a lot of fun watching this all happen, and yeah, cool, good for them. Good for Kevin McCarthy. Hopefully he keeps his end of the bargain.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Well, some classified documents from Biden's time as vice president were discovered in a private office. Uh-oh, here comes the FBI
so
raid.
funny.
As Trump said, when is the FBI going to raid the many houses of Joe Biden?
The many houses.
Perhaps even the White House. Those documents were definitely not declassified because only he can do it with
Yes,
his mind. Right?
yeah.
That's what it is. So fewer than a dozen classified documents were found when closing out the private office in the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement. Some of them are marked SCI, which stands for Sensitive Compartmentalized Information, which is highly sensitive info from intelligence agencies. And yeah, so currently Special Counsel Jack Smith is investigating former President Donald Trump for mishandling documents at Mar-a-Lago. And Biden said that he didn't know about them, which I believe.
I believe that, and I also think it's a legitimate excuse for the Trump ones and a lot of stuff. They're boxes and boxes of documents.
Oops.
And I don't think there's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the double standard.
I have heard them even on CNN and some of the left-leaning networks, they were discussing how this is now a big dilemma for Merrick Garland and stuff because you have to treat both of these cases equally. And some of the left-leaning networks are trying to say, oh, but Trump was uncooperative, that the difference is like Biden handed it over right away. But still, to try to say that there's some crime at the core of it, you can't say that
about both.
Trump
About
Trump
one
committed
and
a
not the
crime,
other.
but
Yeah,
Biden didn't. You have to treat them both the same, yeah.
I also heard that they actually found this out right before midterms.
Oh, really?
And then they held on to it because they didn't want it to affect midterms, which is interesting.
And the VP has no power to declassify. Presidents do. That was a totally organic
say
thought.
anything
Definitely
that
not
they
written
type
on our
in
show
there.
notes at all.
I see, because he was VP at the time,
Yeah.
so he couldn't take the documents and declassify them,
Yeah.
I guess is the idea. So, all right, well,
That's exactly what I was trying to
I
say.
do not care that he had these files at all, except in the fact that they
That same. It just feels hypocritical.
At least when he was
Beyond
VP,
that, I don't
he had
care that
more
much.
like cognitive capabilities. To me, I just like when I hear anything about Biden, I'm just like, he didn't do anything. He didn't tweet that. He didn't say that. No, that's not an organic thought. Like he's just sort of, I don't know. I don't see much going on with him. So it's hard for me to like take any kind of like Biden headline seriously because I think it's like one of his
there's not a lot going on
lackeys.
upstairs.
Yeah.
The gates are down, the lights are flashing, but the train's just not coming.
Well said. All right.
A U.S. federal agency is considering a ban on gas stoves. So the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commissioner said gas stove usage is a hidden hazard. They're claiming that it causes childhood asthma, and that it's possible they want to ban them completely. It says 35% of households in the United States use a gas stove, and the number approaches 70% in some states like California and New Jersey. And then, of course, there's also that picture that went viral of Jill Biden cooking on a gas stove from last year or something.
I saw someone also found one of AOC cooking on a gas stove in one of her Instagram live videos. After she tweeted that they cause brain damage.
It seems unnecessary, but what always annoys me when the government does stuff like this, if they really find real evidence that they're harmful in that way, put the information out there, and over time, you gradually transition to a new and better system. Absolutely. Exactly. You don't have to ban things and force people to get rid of stuff and buy new things. Yeah.
And don't get me started on microwaves. No, I think that in general, like I can't trust any kind of like health advice. First of all, there's just like constant information like battling each other, like information overload. Like eggs are great for you. Eggs are the worst thing you can eat. Oatmeal's great for you. Oatmeal's the worst thing you can eat. And when it comes from the government, like I can't trust anything they say because most of the government, like the American Heart Association is like funded by Tyson. So it's like eat 8 servings of Tyson chicken nuggets a day. It's like, gee, I can't really trust anything that American like health agencies say because they clearly don't care about our health. They would ban Kraft mac and cheese and all these like Walmart $1.65 meals. I was just talking about this with a friend. Like this stuff is banned in Europe. It's not healthy. And yet like obesity and heart problems are just, it's just out of control.
How do you feel about microwaves?
That was just a joke because like there's also information that like electromagnetic frequencies are bad for your, like my mom was always like, don't stand too close to the microwave. It's bad. It's radiation.
I always worry about that. See, I've never heard anything.
I still stand away from the microwave.
But whenever my food is like cooking and I look at it, I try to not spend much time there because I'm afraid there's some sort of radiation going into my brain. I don't know if it's true or not because I've also heard that that's like an old wives' tale. Yeah. Because my mom's like, don't stand too close to the microwave. There's radiation and stuff. I'm like, well, it's like it's radiating on my food that I'm eating too. So I'm like, it's fine. So sometimes I'll stand in front of the microwave, but then I'll just be like, but what if she's right? So I kind of go through. But there is a whole documentary called EMF'd about electromagnetic frequencies and how it's like
flower bed.
But I haven't watched it, so I can't really say. I didn't say it. I'm not saying it. I'm trying to. It's funny because it's a play on words and letters.
Play on letter.
Thanks, Adam.
That's so funny because I literally don't.
I guess
I put in my food and I don't stand right in front of the microwave, and I've never thought about it.
I just
feel like it's a common sense. Like I'm not gonna.
I put a cold piece of pizza in the microwave, and then I go and get one of those dentist sled vests.
Right, it's just common sense.
And then I press start and hide behind the counter until it dings.
And then eat the microwaved leftover pizza because we care about our health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get those nuclear tongs that they use.
Put on the hazmat suit.
The full lead suit.
Eat it.
Well, I'm reading a Thomas Sowell book for the first time this year.
Nice.
I've never read Thomas Sowell before.
How does he feel about microwaves and gas stoves?
Well, I haven't gotten to that chapter yet.
Oh.
but he does talk about safety and risk and how you can say anything has some, like nothing is safe. Everything has some level of unsafeness. But they just like pick out one little data point and go, oh, we think it's unsafe because of this. And you don't look at all the, second causes that might come up because of this. And
that's really apparent in California because they have that law where they have to put there's chemicals on this premise that are known to cause cancer warnings everywhere. And I just see them
see them everywhere.
Every single place I go.
Every time I order
the gas
on Amazon,
station, Starbucks, restaurants,
Prop
stores.
65,
it's everywhere. It just says there's chemicals here that cause cancer. I was like, well, I'm already here. It's not going to stop me.
It's really crazy. And I just wonder if it's always been this way. Because I also saw this timeline. I follow a lot of like health and fitness accounts. And I saw this this like spike in obesity because like people were pretty active and ate pretty like normal diets in like the 50s and the 40s. But then when the American like Health Association came out with the food pyramid, that's when everything like kind of got messed up, and that's like when obesity started and stuff. So
that's when fat people started.
Invented fat people.
That's what we invented.
America invented fat people. Yeah. I don't know what you said that made me think of that,
but it's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, Biden finally visited El Paso to inspect the border.
Biden's clone visited El Paso.
Well, they cleaned up and put all these they chose a very particular place to bring him. They cleaned it all up.
They moved away the homeless people and the immigrant
the
camps.
immigrants, and
He walked up to the border and they got rid of his walker and then he posed for his picture, right?
and now that something like 5 million immigrants have made it into the United States under his watch, 2 years into his presidency.
Oh, I thought you said cologne.
No, clone.
That's why I
Clone.
didn't understand.
That's why you didn't comment on it.
Biden's
Yeah,
clone.
I
Because I,
was
said
just
I don't
lost.
believe anything that has like a Biden headline anymore. I'm like, oh, it must have been one of his clones or like, I don't know. Sorry, guys. Honestly, I don't hear about any news until like I'm sitting on the podcast. I'm like, oh, that happened this week?
They came up with a new term. This is interesting. New term just dropped. Instead of illegal immigration, they are now saying irregular migration.
Oh, gosh.
Which they weren't already saying. What were they saying? They weren't saying illegal immigration. It was undocumented.
There was undocumented immigrants, and there was migrant workers.
Now they're
Illegal aliens.
irregular migrants.
Irregular migration sounds like they're like weaving and walking in a zigzag pattern
Serpentine patterns across the
border.
desert.
Yeah.
Human irrigation. We should just like have a game where we come up with like similar sounding like
Did you say human irrigation?
human irrigation.
Such as like peeing out in the field or something?
It's like when water irrigates, but instead of water, it's humans.
They're just flowing
Oh,
across
'cause
the border.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That's
I
all.
like it.
That's
I
all.
like it.
That's all I came up
Irregular
with. So I guess it
migration.
can't be a game if I only can come up with one joke.
So Laura Cronin, I don't know who that is, but she's on Twitter, and she tweeted, check out the same exact sidewalk photographed one day apart near the border in El Paso that Joe Biden will be visiting this week. Guess when there are going to be cameras around when they need to clean it up, huh? Where'd they ship the people off to? On Wednesday, there's a bunch of migrants, and I don't know if they're homeless people or migrants or whatever.
Where'd they
And then
go?
on Thursday, they're completely gone.
But genuinely, like, where did they go and how did they
They shoot them off
incentivize?
into camps or whatever.
That's
wherever
how
they
the
take
Biden
them.
administration should solve the migrant crisis and homelessness. Just have him visit every city
And
each
then they'll
day
have
of the
to
year,
clean it
and
up.
that city will have to shoo those people away before he comes.
When we were in San Diego, like late October, early November, and my wife noticed that all the homeless people were gone. Like a week before midterms, and she was like, "Oh, it's because of you know, the Democrats are about
Optics.
to and I was like, "Wow, that is insane."
It is.
She was,
Yeah,
it was
instead of
exactly
addressing
right.
the problem at the root, let's just make it look okay, and then
shuffle them around, yeah.
it's really, really ideal.
So
That was sarcasm.
yeah,
It's not ideal.
It's not.
Not.
The way those two pictures appear, it looks like they put all the homeless people in that yellow trash can and took them away.
They're just in the trash cans.
They swept them up and dumped them in there.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for our banger of the week. You know what drives me crazy? When I'm out of the country, I travel a lot, and I'm starting to watch a show that I'm getting into, but when I come home, it's blocked on my streaming service here in the States. If you didn't know, lots of amazing titles are only available in certain regions, so you're not making the most of your streaming subscriptions. If you're wondering how do you get access to these shows without leaving the country, what you need is a little help from Private Internet Access. Private Internet Access is a leading VPN provider that works with all major streaming services so that you can access more content than ever. All you need to do is connect to a server and you're good to go. The VPN is really user-friendly. One subscription can be used on up to 10 devices. Personally, I love using Private Internet Access to watch shows from the UK. Have you ever seen the Venezuelan version of the Great British Baking Show? You should. Head to piavpn.com/thebabylonbee and get an 83% discount. That's just $2.03 a month, and you also get 4 extra months completely for free.
Banger of the week.
I'm your like makeshift soundboard today. Everybody on the naughty list.
Here's the banger. McCarthy warns not voting for him could delay more funds to Ukraine.
Is that an actual pocket square that a Ukraine pocket square, or did we Photoshop that? I'm not sure. But a lot of people thought that this was real, which was part of the reason for the viral sharing. And I think he did say something later like
That is a possible. That does sounds like the sort of
he might actually
rhetoric
say.
they would use. Yeah.
I guess one of the things he did agree to with the Freedom Caucus members was fewer funds to Ukraine.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a reverse prophecy fulfilled or something. But and we'll be talking in a minute about more people who thought Babylon Bee was real. So, but next off, here's our bomb of the week.
Bomb of the week.
This one is gridlock. Couple on 15th round of voting where to go for dinner. It's our bomb. It's good we decided not to make a video out of it.
Out of our bomb of the week. I don't feel like this was our lowest performing article of the week. I need to start.
I always
looking at
question
these,
that too.
but that's a good one. I like this one.
Mm-hmm.
I like it too.
And they're both McCarthy vote related.
Yeah, I finally understand the joke because when you guys were filming that sketch, I was like,
What are you guys doing?
Oh,
What are
you
they
didn't know
talking
the
about?
root of that?
I try to stay away from it honestly because if I get like sensory overload of
The
like
political,
yeah,
political, yeah.
yeah.
I agree. No,
So I try to take some weeks where I'm just like let people tell me if there's something that's really.
I think you need to glance at it, get a sense of it, and look away. It's
Yeah,
like
don't sit
the
in it for
Seinfeld
too long.
episode. Never mind. That's inappropriate for this podcast. But you get a sense of it and look away. I think is the yeah.
Is the move.
That's
Well, here's something you won't want to look away from. It's time for Sizzler Facts. 18 weeks ago, we debuted a new feature of the podcast called Sizzler Facts.
Oh, Emma.
not
You guys know
written
Emma.
by Brandon.
She says, "My Army Reserve unit used." I'm gonna impersonate Emma. My Army Reserve unit used to dine at Sizzler for lunch on drill weekends. This is my first introduction to Sizzler. We could get anything that's under $15 for free on the unit, or we could pay the difference. I typically didn't get the salad bar because then I'd have to pay extra. When the pandemic hit, we stopped going, and since then we've never used them for lunch. I think they either raised their prices or closed down. I haven't been to Sizzler since and don't plan on ever going again. Love, Emma."
I feel like
sounded very.
you sounded more like Emma before you started trying to impersonate Emma.
I'm only doing it because whenever she impersonates me, she's like, "Nah," she like really makes my voice all squeaky. I'm
okay.
like, that is not how I sound.
I see.
The women cat fighting.
Well, this has been
No.
Sizzler Facts.
Aggressive, yeah.
No, I wasn't. I'm so.
Are you women gonna get the new all-female M&Ms?
Is that real?
Yeah, they have the new package that's all.
Wait, are you
female.
serious?
It's a
I thought
real
that
thing.
was.
No, there's the all-female.
Because the green and brown ones are the female characters in the commercials, so there's all female packs for limited time that are just green and brown. You look thrilled because you're a woman. You're happy about it.
I just can't believe that's a real thing. When Emma pitched that as like a headline, I was like, "Oh, all female M&Ms. That would be ridiculous."
all the feminist
that is-
work for all the centuries led up to this moment, and you
So instead of thinking the Babylon Bee was real, you thought a real story was the Babylon Bee.
reverse.
That's been happening a lot more lately.
Yeah.
To a lot of people. That's so dumb. Where's the all male package? Are the majority of M&M
the
colors?
the men have had their time.
But like, are the majority of M&M characters men?
I think red is a man. I think yellow is a man.
Yellow was a man. Because those used to be the only two
Those were the two,
characters,
yeah.
and then they introduced the green one, and then people were mad because it was a woman, but it was sexy, they said.
Yeah, it was the
And
second.
there's
they had
only
to make
one
the
woman,
green
and then
one
there's like
not
the trans
sexy.
one.
She was no Lola
And then
Rabbit.
there was like
but
a
she was still pretty
brown,
hot.
nerdy
Yeah.
woman one.
My thing is, they're not even they shouldn't have gender. They're chocolate candies that are coated in beetle poop. Food coloring.
Yeah.
So no one should be eating those. And if you're eating M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, you need to be reconsidering your life choices.
I like the caramel ones, and actually,
never had
I didn't even know
you
there
know
was.
what? I don't like the caramel ones. I like the peanut.
Not
Butter.
I like the peanut butter ones.
the
They're
peanut
like,
M&Ms.
like creamy on the inside. Yeah. No,
Peanut butter.
peanut butter M&M.
So they're like M&M. They're like Reese's Pieces,
Yeah, I guess
or as
that's-
Emma says, I'm making fun of Emma so much on the
Reese's
spot. Reese's Pieces.
It's not even a valid. She was trying to make it into a debate. Is it pronounced Reese's Pieces or Reese's Pieces?
Oh, yeah, that's not a valid.
Reese's Pieces.
Reese's Pieces.
So like that's
And I'm like, no, it's
No,
literally
no
a
one
rhyme.
no one
It's
debates
like,
that.
That's not a debate.
Yeah.
Reese's. All right, it's time for weekly news with Adam Yetzer.
It's time for the weekly news with Adam Yetzer.
Welcome to Weekly News. On Tuesday, 10 classified documents from Biden's time as vice president were found in his private office at the Biden Center. And sadly, unlike President Trump, Biden is no longer cognitively able to declassify documents even by thinking about it. While his supporters stormed the Brazilian capital this week, Jair Bolsonaro stayed in Florida at a house he rented near Disney World, where he still hopes to become president of Epcot, Brazil. According to doctors, the first thing Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin said when he woke up in the hospital was, "Did we win?" To which doctors replied, that depends. Were you rooting for Jim Jordan or Kevin McCarthy? A comet that only passes Earth once every 50,000 years will be visible to the naked eye this month, and President Biden said he's excited to see it again. A Batman spin-off series from DC Comics features a new storyline where the Joker becomes pregnant and gives birth to his own son, which marks the first time the media has represented a pregnant man accurately as a mentally disturbed psychopath. Yes. Due to the mudslides in Montecito, celebrities including Oprah, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle were ordered to evacuate. California, where even billionaires and royalty wind up homeless. Harry and Meghan said they're thrilled to have a new sad story they can exploit for money and attention. In a new interview, Guardians of the Galaxy star David Bautista called his role as Drax a silly performance. And just to be clear, he spent 19 years in his underwear fake fighting grown men for a giant belt. Noma, a restaurant in Copenhagen that is consistently ranked as the best in the world, announced that they're closing. So if you wanted Noma food, unfortunately, there's Noma food. The Mega Millions lottery jackpot has once again surpassed $1 billion. With that sort of money, you could buy this private island, an entire NFL team, or 3 dozen eggs. Harvard University is offering a new course on providing health care for LGBTQIA infants. You can tell an infant is LGBTQIA if it whines and cries and wants special attention all the time. That's it for Weekly News. Be sure to check out my stand-up special on Dry Bar Comedy and come see me live at HB Social Club in Honolulu, January 28th.
Wow, that was awesome. Good job.
My favorite part of the podcast. All right, next up, we talk to someone that you might recognize from the Hercules 64 video game. His name is Kevin Sorbo. He's putting out a new film called Left Behind, Rise of the AntiChrist, which I believe is a sequel to the 2014 film with Nicolas Cage. And we talked to him about it. So Brett Pella is not in this movie. You can go to leftbehindmovie.com to check it out. You can go to sorbostudios.com and sorboisraeltrip.com, where, you know, maybe there's an Israel trip that has something to do with Kevin Sorbo. It's coming out in 1,500 movie theaters, it sounds like, so get your tickets today. Don't be left back. Hey there, we know you listen to the Babylon Bee podcast 24/7 while you're eating, working, even sleeping. But in case you're looking for a little break, check out one podcast that our CEO enjoys. The Anchored podcast, produced by the Classic Learning Test. If you haven't heard about the Classic Learning Test, or CLT, it is truly one of the most disruptive companies in modern education. CLT is challenging the College Board, the ACT, and the woke education establishment by providing standardized tests that offer a common-sense return to traditional education. Their Anchored podcast focuses on the intersection of education and culture, featuring conversations with leading thinkers like the one and only Seth Dillon, Robbie George, Allie Beth Stuckey, Glenn Lowry, Heather McDonald, and many more. If you truly want to understand the failures of mainstream education, how it's impacting our culture, and how to fix it, you won't want to miss this podcast. Listen to Anchored by the Classic Learning Test wherever you get your podcasts. That's ANCHORED by the Classic Learning Test.
And now it's time for another interview on the Babylon Bee podcast.
Hey, so we are, this is the Babylon Bee interview show. I'm here with Emma and I'm Jarret. And with us on the line is Kevin Sorbo, one of our favorite guests. Really, really happy to have you on today, Kevin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here, guys. I appreciate it. I love what you guys do. I follow you. I quote you guys a lot. You guys are awesome what you're doing.
Well, you're awesome too, and you have a new movie coming out. It's the newest installment of the Left Behind series, called The Rise of the AntiChrist, right? And it is the sequel of the Nick Cage reboot that happened a couple of years ago. Is that right? Or is it
actually, his came out in 2014. Yeah, which was the same. That was the last movie they did on Left Behind. They did like 3 or 4 movies with Kirk Cameron back like 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
And the book series, the book rights are owned by Cloud 10, a company based out of Toronto. And they got inundated because the same year they came out with the Nicolas Cage version of the character I'm playing in this one, Rayford Steele. He played that character in 2014. My movie God's Not Dead came out. It was a massive hit. And so they got inundated with all these people saying, why did you book Nick Cage now? Well, why not use Kevin Sorbo? So they contacted me about a year after that movie came out and said, look, we got to use you in the next one. And then so 2 years ago, they said, okay, we're ready. We got it funded. We're ready to do it. We're going to rewrite a little bit, make it more modern day. And so I directed it as well about a year ago. And now we're coming out. We got, I think, 1,700 screens between America and Canada.
Man, that's great. I'm very excited. Did you guys had Neil McDonough in this movie?
I got Neil. I brought in Bailey Chase. I brought in Corbin Burnson. All these guys that great actors and buddies of mine. Yeah,
Neil's amazing. I was in a movie with him years ago that he will never remember, and so no, that's so great. And we watched a little bit of it. We didn't get to see the whole thing because I just started watching it today. We watched about the first 50 minutes. It was very interesting. And I'm very excited to see.
It felt like an allegory for the COVID-19 pandemic. Trust the science, trust the government.
We talk about it.
Yeah,
we do. I mean, it's 6 months after the rapture, so what's left is our Antifa members. That's pretty much what's left.
Everyone else goes.
It deals with all the non-believers and the chaos of the world, and it deals with some people are going, I blew it, like my character. My wife was a Christian, my little kid was a Christian, they were taken, and now we realize all the years of her harping on me, there's something about this. So he goes on his own trek to find his own redemption. Right. But then there's people which will happen. There are people like, it was aliens. It was, it was weird. It was an anomaly, and no one wants, but it's going to be interesting to see people's response to this. But it's definitely darker and edgier than any of the Left Behinds they've done before.
Right. And then if the government wants you to believe that it was aliens, what are they going to do to try to trick you into thinking that it's aliens? I loved how
it's Neil McDonough plays a guy that exactly what's going on with politicians right now, talking about this new world order, to have one government, one currency, and all this kind of. So it's going to be it's sort of prophetic that way, as well as being what's coming out of the Book of Revelation. And hopefully people go to this movie and they'll pull out their Bible and read the Revelations and see how it sort of ties in with that. So we're getting pretty good response from people that have already seen the movie. So we'll see what happens. They're already talking about doing the next sequel, and I get to direct that one again as well.
Oh, that's great. So you have been. Have you directed a lot before? Is this something you do on occasion, or?
Yeah, well, I started directing back in the Hercules years. So I directed Left Behind. I directed Miracle in East Texas, which is coming out later this year. I directed Let There Be Light, which came out about 4 years ago in theaters. A nice 4-month roll, 4-month run then. So I'm doing more and more of it right now. I got another movie this year I'm directing as well.
Do you like acting or directing more?
I like acting more. If people say I can only do one thing, I'll stick with the acting. But I do like directing as long as I got a great team around me to make me look good.
that is important.
Right. Yeah. Get your good side.
You have a lot of good sides. Yeah. It's like, both sides. Anyway, there's two sides. Anyway, so
three sides to every story.
No, that's great. So you guys, and what do you have in the works right now? You're just going around, you're kind of talking about this movie?
I'm just doing a lot of publicity. Opens January 26th. Go to leftbehindmovie.com. That's leftbehindmovie.com. Sign up, and it's got the trailer. It's got just put your zip code in. It shows you what theater's near you. And then I've got the Reagan movie coming out later this year, and Miracle in East Texas coming out later this year. I got 5 movies that I shot just in the last year that'll be out either late this year or early next year. And I've already booked 5 movies for this year. So I'm staying very busy. I'll be in LA coming up here in February. I'm shooting a movie in LA, and then I got one in North Carolina, and I got one in Dubai, which I'm looking forward to shooting in Dubai for the first time.
How do you keep your family together while you're traveling like that?
If it's longer than 2 weeks, they travel with me. So, but now, the kids, my wife at this point now, because the kids are at ages of 21 and almost 19 and 17. So, they're the age now. It's like, I don't need to go with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm sure they'll want to go to Dubai.
I think they all want to go to Dubai.
Yeah. I would be like, I'd miss you too much. I have to go with you. I need to stay in the nice hotel.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I went to Dubai years ago, and it's kind of like religious Las Vegas. It's a very interesting place. It's like a weird place.
Were you in a service over there or what?
No. I went on a mission trip to Africa, and we flew through Dubai, and we had a layover. So we were around, and we got to go kind of hang out and see Dubai, and it was an interesting experience. Have you ever been?
My brother was stationed in Saudi Arabia for a couple of years, so he popped over there and said it was just unbelievable how clean it is. Just reeks of money everywhere.
Oh yes, it's just amazing. It's a crazy place. That's good. So are you shooting, what kind of movie is that you're shooting in Dubai?
It is it's an action thriller. It's an action movie. And then I got another one that I'm shooting up in North Carolina. I'm looking forward to. It's a really, you can call it faith-based, but it's pretty hard-edged. And then Neil and I are trying to raise money for his Western right now, which is a modern-day telling of Cain and Abel. It's modern day because it's 1850s. For Cain and Abel, that's modern day.
Yeah.
And but it's in the vein of Yellowstone. It's violent, but it's what the Westerns what the West had to be like back then.
Yeah, it was like the Wild West back then.
Well, Cain and Abel is pretty violent,
like,
so I would hope it would be violence. Cain and Abel, it's pretty true to the genre.
It kind of matches the story, yes.
Yeah, no spoilers, but
No, that's great that you're working with
no
Neil so
spoiler.
much. That's really cool that you get to work with Neil so much. He's a really wonderful actor. I'm a huge fan
We've
of
known
his.
each other a long, long time, and we always talk about it. So we finally, when I read the script and they let me do a lot of the casting on it as well, and I just said, dude, you got to play this role. He read it and he jumped on board right away.
By the way, you cast Sam in this movie, and she
I
did a great job. I
She
know
did
she's a
very-
wonderful actor, but it was just
And-
nice to see her on camera.
Oh, my oldest boy's in it too.
He played
I made him
Connor.
audition for the role. I made him audition. The writers liked him so much they actually added 3 more scenes while we were filming.
That's so cool. And he played a character named Connor or Colin. I can't
Connor,
remember.
yep.
Connor. That's
Yep.
right. Yeah. He did a good job.
He did a very
Tell
nice.
him we thought he did a great job. That's great.
I'll let you know.
it's awesome. Was there a lot of changes from the original script to when it was made?
Oh, there was quite a few. There was quite a few. I mean, they wanted to make it more modern day in terms of what's going on in the world right now. Jerry Jenkins, who's one of the co-authors of these 80 million best-selling Left Behind books, saw it and he gave us a great endorsement. He said this is by far the best of the movies you guys have ever done. He wasn't upset with the changes they made. It still follows, roughly what the books were about. They just added stuff that happened today that when they wrote those books 40 years ago, they didn't know what the world was going to be like then in terms of what modern USA is right now.
Yeah,
And then
there's a lot of that.
I was surprised that the protagonist and the good guy is a news anchor. I wouldn't expect a news anchor to want to tell the truth.
Well, that was true. Buck was a news anchor in the series, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. He was, and he had a news anchor and an airline pilot.
But he plays pretty much an agnostic throughout most of the movie, and he's got his own questions about it all. But he's tired of the ridiculousness of the news and ridiculous of the not telling the truth and the covering up, and so he's not afraid to expose that of how one side of the news is and how they want people to believe what they want to believe. Pretty much what our government's doing right now, because the government's favorite weapon, of course, is fear, and that's pretty much what happens within the newsroom, what he's working with, what they want him to promote.
And he did a great job. The actor did a really good job.
Yeah, Greg Perot, great guy.
Yeah.
Really good guy. He was just on the last season of the Walking Dead as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I was reading up on. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Walking Dead, great stuff.
Right. I'm not really too familiar with the series. I didn't read the books and I didn't watch the earlier movies. So I did appreciate that I could watch this not knowing everything about the series and still I didn't feel left behind in the genre or left out. I didn't.
Well done.
It's true. You don't need, it's not contingent on you seeing what happened before. I mean, it's pretty much set up that it's 6 months after the rapture's taken place. What's the world going to look like?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can all sort of guess. But I think it's a movie that anybody of all walks of life, anybody of any faiths or non-faiths can still watch the movie and have a great time with it, because it is sort of an action thriller.
Now, Emma, you had a question about a crossover.
Yes. So I was wondering when the Left Behind series and God's Not Dead are going to do a crossover episode.
And I actually watched the movie and I saw God's Not Dead in the church. So
I know. That was
we
on
did
purpose.
it. Yeah, that's
That was
funny.
on- that was
Or
on-
God
that was
is
on-
dead. It was God is dead. I was wondering if you were going to
Yeah.
pick up some spray paint.
Yeah. When's the kid going to come out and do
Do
a
the knock.
I know.
crossover?
We
The knock part.
need Mr. Harper to come and join the cast, but I don't know what happened to him. I haven't spoken to him and heard from him in a long time. But
Yeah,
God
wasn't he
bless
on?
him.
He went on Euphoria or something like that. Didn't he go on and do some other stuff? But
I think, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's
Yeah.
doing.
That's
but,
not good.
yeah. I mean, I didn't.
That's a weird
We're
show.
Christians. We don't talk about
I
that.
can't
yeah.
watch that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, well, Kevin, this is we are very excited for your movie, January 29th. Is that right?
26th.
26th. Okay, January
It goes
26th.
January 26th through the 29th. I need people to fill those theaters up because that way we can get more time. Because I've always told people theater owners don't care what they show. They want to sell popcorn and sodas. So we need to fill those seats so we can get another couple weeks out of this movie.
That's great. And you want people to come away, go back to their Bibles, and start reading Revelation for themselves and get an understanding of who God is.
Educated. Because it's a crazy chapter, as you know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is absolutely crazy. And you guys went out there and you told this story. Great job. Thank you so much. We are going to support you, and we love you over here at the B. And we like it, especially when you're in our sketches. So we need to make that happen again.
I know. That was funny. That was funny last time I was there. So once again, leftbehindmovie.com, leftbehindmovie.com. Also go to sorbostudios.com, sorbostudios.com. And my wife and I are taking another group to Israel in May. And we only need 8 more places filled up. We got 52 people signed up. We did this 4 years ago. Go to sorboisraeltrip.com, sorboisraeltrip.com.
Now that does look amazing, and I want to do that. So.
Yeah, the B people should fill those seats.
Yeah, just 8 B people.
Kyle.
The B people should fill up those 8 slots. Come on, we'll talk to Seth. Put some pressure on him.
Hey, Seth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he's not in here. He's in Florida. All right. Well, listen. Thank you, Kevin, so much for joining us today, and good,
Pleasure.
blessings on your movie, and we just really appreciate what you're doing. So keep it up, and say hi to Neil McDonough. He won't remember me. I played I played a British rock musician in a movie called They Call Him Sasquatch, that he will not remember. So anyway, all right. Well, listen. You have a wonderful.
I'm gonna go look at that movie now. All right.
All right. Well, listen. You have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. All the best.
Do you have trouble sleeping? Abide is the #1 Christian meditation app. When I can't sleep, I often find myself searching for calming music to center myself. I was kind of skeptical, honestly, about using an app for meditation, but now I don't really see a better way than Abide. The Abide app is not only for getting a good night's sleep, though. In the Abide app, there's content for sleep, music, and daily meditations. Download the Abide app today and find peace amidst the chaos. Right now, though, I have a special offer when you subscribe. 25% off your first year when you sign up for the premium subscription. But only if you text the promo code BABYLON to 22433. Don't wait. Download Abide Sleep and Pray Meditation today. And text my promo code BABYLON to 22433 today to get 25% off. 22433 today to get 25% off.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh no.
Happy birthday to you.
What is this?
Happy birthday, dear Kyle. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you guys. That was awesome. Really appreciate it.
Kyle's birthday, everybody.
My birthday is tomorrow or yesterday when you're listening to this podcast. I'm turning 36, and this is awesome. So this is a dwarven. What structure is this in Lord of the? What is specific? Is this a specific structure in Lord of the Rings?
That's a gnome home.
Oh, it's not. Okay, it's not. It's a dwarf. So there's like a dwarven head dice tower. So in some like board games and RPGs, you can actually roll your dice right into the tower, and that kind of randomizes them. That's amazing. So, wow, this is awesome, guys. This is so cool.
And some half-opened bags of poison.
And
is one of those the all-female bag?
No, there's a crunchy cookie, which I saw this, and I was like, ew.
They got me my favorite peanut butter
peanut M&Ms, no caramel.
No, none of the actual peanut butter ones.
These will give you just as much of a stomach ache that those other ones will.
All right. Are these keto?
No.
Yeah, the cookies and cream ones are.
This one has only females on it.
That's why I thought it was, because it had the female character on the front.
But I guess that one has all
I'm
the
so
females.
anti M&Ms. Everyone probably thinks I'm like a communist or something, but no, honestly, I just like, I don't know. I'm more of, I don't know. I don't know. Do you just put M&Ms
Take some
in there?
M&Ms through the dwarf head.
This is such a cool gift, though. Like a 3D
This is really
printed.
neat, guys. Yeah, thank you. This is, wow, that's incredible.
And it's so light. You wouldn't expect it to be so light. It looks like
Yeah, the way they print these is pretty
like a clay molded thing.
This is so great. And as part of the gift, they are going to play a 4-hour Dungeons and Dragons session with me. I've decided.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you
Don't
guys.
do it.
That was awesome. That was
Don't do
awesome.
it.
I'm looking forward to my birthday tomorrow.
Do you have any big birthday plans?
We might go to a local Old Town restaurant in Temecula that I like a lot.
Nice.
And then on Saturday, I am having some of my nerdiest friends over for a 12-hour long board game session.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a long session.
Long, yeah.
Even if you like board games, 12 hours, that's a long time.
Well, it'll be like we'll do one long game that's 2 or 3 hours, big long battle game, risk type thing, whatever. And then we'll probably take a break, get some food, smoke some cigars, and then play a couple lighter games and that kind of stuff. So
How old are you?
I'm 36.
Happy birthday.
30
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. So that's going to be fun. And, most of my birthdays over the last few years, I've tried to climb to the top of a mountain that's near me.
Really?
It would be a hill. It's a hill in California. Most other places would call it.
Which one is it?
It's called Menifee Mountain.
Oh, okay.
But it's about 1,600 feet or 1,700 feet. But my elevation's like 800 or 900 feet, so the climb isn't that great. And there's a cross on.
Are you going to do that this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
I think I'll do it tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's
That's
a couple
cool.
miles. It'll be fun. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys. That meant a lot to me. Awesome. It says pour the M&Ms into the tower. So
I thought you were gonna say not at the end of that.
10 times people thought the bee was real.
all right, now, so a lot of times people think the Babylon Bee is real when you might have seen like your grandma or your aunt sharing a Babylon Bee article on Facebook. All of us have personal
And they'll get mad about it.
Yeah,
They'll be like, look what the Democrats are doing now, or look what Joe Biden said.
So we went through and polled some times that people have done this. Some of these come from the Reddit. There's a subreddit called Ate the Onion, which is pretty funny. You guys should go scroll through sometime where they'll pull any satire site that people think is real, like The Onion or whatever, and they'll pull comments that people make.
Okay.
So here we go. This first one is someone named Robin Pograbin, who is a verified account on Twitter. And she shared our article, NBA Players Wear Special Lace Collars to Honor Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's, I think she's with the New York, she's a New York Times reporter.
Okay,
And
so
she
that's
thought it was real?
That's why we think she thinks it was real.
I think she ended up deleting this after people
Got
pointed
it.
it out. Yeah.
Got it.
What was her... did she add any comment to
I
it?
don't see any comment, but I think people were replying, this is satire, this is satire. And she
Oh, I
deleted
see.
it. So the assumption
Okay,
is
so that kind of confirms it. Because I was like, what if she just thought it was funny? Like,
That's
but
what
guess,
that's why I wasn't sure.
because I also see, like, I don't know, Twitter, every little subculture on the internet, it has, like, its different rules. But I have seen some, like, Twitter accounts that will put in their bio, like, retweeting is not, what's the word?
like an endorsement.
Yeah, like retweeting is not an endorsement. I'm like, well, why would it be? It's just like, but I guess some people would probably think that, like,
Well, some people
you were
some people
validating
use the like button to bookmark stuff. Like,
right.
they can go back and see their own likes so they can see what they're going to read.
Right.
People will think the like means I
You
like this. Yeah.
you're a fascist. I see. Yeah.
All right, what's
so
up
is
next?
she? Do we know anything about this woman? Is she like a?
I'm sure she's a great reporter. She works for the New York Times. Here's one with the Babylon Bee article we did. Brittany Griner flees back to Russia in terror after seeing American flag. And someone shared it on Facebook with the comment, if true, you gotta be kidding me. Disgraceful, despicable, cussing emoji. U.S. Marine Whelan, how do you say that, should have been the trade, not someone who despises the U.S., especially considering who they traded her for. Give me a break. Ugh. Like I said, Biden and all of his puppeteers need to take a hike because they're all off their rockers. Cussing emoji.
They're really mad about that.
If true, you gotta be kidding me. I think that, like, I don't know. I just have like a not wishful thinking. What's the word? I give people the benefit of the doubt where they said if true, but I think that it's hitting the mark of like she doesn't even really want to be here, and that's
I
what
like the idea that this
tone
person
is.
thought that Griner got back and was like, and flew back, and he's like, this is what a terrible
just from
trade.
seeing a flag. And that first sentence is funny because they're qualifying it if true, and then also saying you have to be kidding me, and it is a joke the whole time.
Yes, we are kidding.
It's not true, and yes, it's kidding.
Should we hire
And
somebody
they go
to just
on,
go through the
but then
internet
they
and be
go
like, this
on
is
to
a
be
joke?
angry about it on the 50-50 chance in their head that
Just in case it is real, I will be upset.
Cussing emoji.
All right, what else we got?
Number 3. So this person shared the Babylon Bee article in Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day address. Kamala Harris urges nation not to forget January 6th. Ha ha ha. And then the conservative underground, or Keith Levy, I don't know, shared this and said, There are times I just simply cannot stand this woman. She is an uter failure and puts her agenda above everything else. I think it's funny because I think that people get mad because, like, yeah, maybe the actual headline isn't true,
Right.
but the sentiment is true.
That one
like,
sounds
they won't
like
shut up
something
about
that-
January 6th.
That one sounds like something that Kamala would really do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because every time they talk about 9/11 or a national tragedy, the Democrats always do try to reference January 6th.
January 6th and how it's worse than 9/11.
They
It's
keep
funny.
trying to make January 6th happen.
Yeah,
like,
it's
we're all
not
worried
going
about
to
it. We're all
happen.
gonna be, yeah.
On January 6th, that morning, I was just sipping coffee and I just went, January 6th, never forget.
Oh yeah, we
Never
just passed
forget.
the anniversary. We didn't really talk
Yeah.
about it, but
It's
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it's just, wow. It's
And
just
again, it highlights what is that? 2 sentences, and you can't get through it without a spelling
What
or
is the
grammar
connection?
mistake.
It's always
so difficult.
People can't spell.
An uter failure. I want to start using that phrase now.
Did someone scroll the thing?
It's like a mix between utter and uber.
Yeah.
It's like a large utter failure.
Or here's one. Our Babylon Bee headline was shared on Facebook. United Airlines kicks 2-year-old off flight for refusing to say Black Lives Matter.
Wow.
I think this was right after they actually kicked one off for not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And
And
a commenter on Facebook says, "You have got to be shooting me. This has to be the most stupid crap ever to be written by a human. This has gone too freaking far. A 2-year-old can't say much of anything. Ignorant."
Donkey.
Wow. And then number 5, the Babylon Bee article that was shared was Paw Patrol replaces Chase the Cop with Carl the Antifa rioter. Said a cute little dog. And the commenter says, if this is legit, then the world really has
Once again,
lost
if this
it.
is true,
this
on
is
the
true.
off chance, I'm going to get really mad.
Let's glorify communism that kills billions of people every year. I think it's crazy they even canceled it in the first place. These people, who are few in the States, plus the media, but have the loudest voices, all in parentheses, are destroying the country. Yeah. Send.
You added the guy.
Yes. But I'm sure they
You got into
God
character
when
as
they,
that person.
when
You
they
said that
sent
you could,
it.
Yeah.
get out of that character.
I find it so funny how angry people get when they're just like, they're putting it all into like their fingertips, just like typing, and it's like, what?
Very stream of
Just
consciousness. Yeah.
exit the app and live your life.
Oh, this is a great one. You wanna do this one?
Yeah, the Babylon Bee headline is CNN anchors all poop pants on air to show it's perfectly normal. That was shared on Facebook, and someone wrote, "Way to go, effing morons. How ridiculous is this BS? Let's go, Brandon. It's normal for grown-ups to poop emoji on themselves in Bidenism? 3 question marks. It's not no way normal in my perspective, though. What a buffoon, LMFAO."
Every single word was capitalized as
Yeah,
well.
and they capitalized the beginning of each word, which is
Yeah.
always weird to me. But
It's so strange.
all right, here's a Babylon Bee article that was shared on Twitter. Supreme Court approves death penalty for people who use leaf blowers before 8 a.m. And someone replied, "I don't like these people either, but that seems very extreme. I Googled this story and I'm not seeing any other sources for it. Thinking it might be fake." I think so. Hey, they didn't
my
get fooled,
gosh.
though. They said they did the
They
research.
think
Yeah.
they're on the right track of thinking it might be
That's
fake.
right. Snopes.
Yeah.
Did leaf blowers actually get approved for death penalty? False.
Here's one. The Babylon Bee headline was, "New Netflix movie actually murders puppies to teach that murdering puppies is bad." And I do like the Photoshop of someone holding a pistol to the head of a corgi.
Oh, poor
the-
thing.
Someone shared this and commented, "Netflix is really showing its true color recently. First 11-year-old girls twerking, now this
Flower bed.
disgusting."
They did get the point. So
We
that's
fooled
good.
them. We fooled them. I do like that Photoshop a
is
lot,
very
though.
funny.
Like, it's like, no, don't shoot the cute puppy. Next one is the Babylon Bee article. In bold anti-Trump statement, Pelosi rips up Bible. And the comments say, comment number 1 says, "That is terrible. Hope she burns in hell.
Hacksaw.
The 80-year-old witch should retire." Next one says she needs to be gone. third comment says, what was the point she was trying to make? And then someone responded to that saying that she's an evil person with the like angry devil emoji. And then someone responded to that saying, well, duh.
So two people who are both angry and think this is real are now getting angry at each other as they discuss it.
Yeah, and they were completely taking the whole thing seriously.
And here's a borderline one, but Donald Trump, the president of the United States, shared an article, a Babylon Bee article. Twitter shuts down entire network to slow spread of negative Biden news. And he said, wow, this has never been done in history. This includes his really bad interview last night. Why is Twitter doing this? Bringing more attention to Sleepy Joe and Big T.
Who's Big T?
What do you guys think? This was famously shared by Trump. Do you think he thought it was real?
I think he thought it was real. That everything that he wrote up there sounds like he legitimately thought it was real.
Yeah.
So this was before he knew what the bee was?
We were assured by people in the Trump administration that he knew it was fake.
That is exactly what people in the Trump administration would say.
I read that he thought it was real.
I mean,
way it reads.
I like President Trump, but yeah, I think that sounds like he really thought it was real and was
Like he knew what the Babylon Bee was, but I think he saw the headline and didn't process what it was.
That was one of his big problems, I think, with his Twitter. In addition to the mean stuff, I think he would share things very quickly without looking at them or watching them or reading them.
Yeah.
It was very hot take based.
Wow.
All right. Well, this has been.
Oh, who is Big T?
Yeah.
Sleepy Joe and Big T.
Who is Big T?
Is that Big Tech or?
Yeah, it must be Big Tech. That makes sense. I wonder if it got cut off and he didn't realize.
Yeah.
Just
like, darn, I'm out of characters.
Like his
Send
Covfefe thing that got cut off. And, yeah.
All right.
Well, this has been times people thought the Babylon Bee was real. Don't let your grandma share Babylon Bee articles as though they're real.
But if she does, send it to us so we can make fun of her on the podcast.
Yeah, and it's fine if they share them. Just know that it's just supposed to make you laugh.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah.
Friends, are you waiting for the other shoe to drop? Any moment now, another major crisis can pop up and take America by surprise. And that's when the panic starts and the grocery store shelves are stripped bare within hours. We've seen it before, and we'll see it again. If you're not ready for this, you will suffer when the time comes. That's why you must go to preparewithbee.com right this very instant and invest in emergency food. We recommend My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest preparedness company with millions of happy customers. Right now, they're knocking $200, get that, $200 off their 3-month emergency food kit. This kit gives you enough breakfast, lunch, and dinners, and drinks and snacks to feed one person for 3 entire months. That's insane. You won't go hungry. At least get 1 kit per person in your family. At $200 off, it's the smartest investment you can make right now. And these kits are currently in stock, and they ship fast and free, so don't put this off. You may not have that luxury later. Go to preparewithbee.com right now to save $200 per kit. Preparewithbee.com.
I really miss Adam Ford.
This is actually from the 8 The Onion subreddit, and Dan was looking through the comments, and he found a Redditor that said, Babylon Bee is satire the same way that the kid that punched people in elementary school was kidding.
That's not our fault that the world is so crazy that we have to
You got 1,100 thumbs up on them.
But I don't even understand that analogy. It sounds like they're doing the old
no, it's
words are violence
It's just
kind of
one.
thing.
It's just 1,100.
No, it's 1.1K.
Yeah.
Did you say 11,000?
1,100.
Okay, you're right.
Carry the 1.
Yeah.
I thought you said 11,000.
You just carry the 1.
Okay. Decimals.
So satire the same way that the kid punched.
I think that is less of a.
So he punches someone and he says, I was
Just
just kidding. We say, we're doing satire. Wait, we do a joke and then we say, ha, it was satire.
We're making fun of the world that's already insane and making it like a little bit lighter-hearted, and we're the jerks for being on the pulse. I don't think
I read it as saying
clever innuendo.
The idea that our satire is hurtful or that violence, words are violence. Mm-hmm. Like if we say Rachel Levine is a man, that hurts people, even though Rachel Levine is a man.
But we say, oh, it's satire. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't believe that words are violence.
But we don't say kidding. We say Rachel Levine is a man. No, seriously.
Not.
Well, she's not anymore. Sorta.
Well. Thanks for joining us on the Babylon Bee podcast today. We want to remind you guys to go to BabylonBeeLive.com and come join us for our event in Fort Worth, Texas, where you can come hang out, see a live podcast, panel discussion, live sketch comedy on stage, all kinds of fun stuff. Hang out with Babylon Bee writers and crew. That'll be a freaking blast. BabylonBeeLive.com, February 24th in Fort Worth, Texas. Now we're going to go into our subscriber portion, so pony up some cash and join us in the subscriber lounge.
Coming up next, for Babylon Bee subscribers.
And they have an Android, so they're very in touch.
Yeah. Androids,
Sorry,
I like
do you have an Android? You have an Android?
Yeah.
The way Progressive solved that with their mental gymnastics, they actually changed the definition of racism.
But with Applebee's, every time I've gone, it's like,
Oh, really?
they messed up the celery. Russian astronaut from 23rd century wanders onto website seeking information about atomic vessels.
This has been another edition of the Babylon Bee podcast. From the dedicated team of certified fake news journalists you can trust here at the Babylon Bee. Reminding you to go forth and punch Satan right in the face.